Alright, to solve this cubic function by hand is actually the easiest factoring problem that we've done. Because when we were factoring something like this, we split this up so that it was x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6. And then we would group these and pull out our greatest common factor so that we had x plus 2 plus 3 x plus 2. And then pull out x plus 2, and this gives us x plus 2, x plus 3. Now that was how we were doing that for anytime a wasn't 1. And on this, we already have 4 terms, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't have to split up b so that I have them. So I'm actually going to do this problem just like this, but I get to skip the cross portion of the factor by grouping or cross and box method that we talked about in class. So I'm just going to go x cubed minus x squared in parentheses plus, I'm going to fix that, plus 5x minus 5. Now just factor out our greatest common factor of this term up here. That gives us x squared, x minus 1. Greatest common factor between x cubed and x squared is x squared, plus the greatest common factor of 5x minus 5 is 5. And I've got these the same again, so I can factor out that binomial, and I'm left with x squared plus 5. And this was equal to 0 from the beginning. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky because I have this x squared plus 5. And if I have to continue doing this, I'm going to do this portion first because I'm going to do this portion first because it's a little bit trickier. I'm just going to change color so you can see where it starts. Now I'm just going to solve x squared plus 5 equals 0. And this uses the zero product property, which states that if I'm multiplying these two together, one of them has to be 0 for it to equal 0. We've been using that without having talked about it a whole bunch. So from here, solve this for x. I'm going to solve it using square roots. So x squared equals negative 5. Take our square root. X equals. Now usually you can't take the square root of a negative 5. It's going to be a complex number, so we're going to actually do that. Remember that the square root of negative 5 is the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 5. The square root of negative 1 is I, so we get I square root of 5. But I took that square root, so it's plus or minus. So it's x equals plus or minus I square root of 5. Over here, this one, much easier. X minus 1 equals 0. Add 1. X equals 1. So my final answer is x equals 1, comma, plus or minus I square root of 5. Now I should have 3 answers because this was a cubic function, and we can check that. So I have 1, and then this represents 2. It's the positive I square root of 5 and the negative I square root of 5. So I'm good.